Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Sauer, an attorney who helps families create wills and trusts and manage issues related to guardianship and the administration of estates. I love helping families plan for the future because of the relief I see in their faces after they sign documents and know that everything is organized. Our goal tonight is to help participants organize another very important area of their lives, their homes. Our organization is the Senior Services Network of Southeastern Pennsylvania. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but sometimes we call it the SSN or SEPA for short. Most people are not sure where to begin when trying to navigate senior services. You may not know what types of resources you or a loved one needs until the time arises. So with this in mind, we've formed a group of professionals who focus on providing services to seniors. Our goal is to be one place where seniors, their families, and caregivers can obtain information about and access to providers of these services in the Southeastern Pennsylvania area. As for tonight, Darla Pompilio will be sharing tips for minimizing your possessions to simplify your life. When should you start? And how do you keep from getting stuck when deciding what to get rid of? After that, Elaine Siafani will be sharing about the 5 most important things you can do to get your house ready for market and looking its best. Darla will kick us off. And you really want to pay attention because Darla is a professional organizer and the founder of Your Tasks Are Time LLC, which serves clients in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. She and her team specialize in residential and small business organizing, downsizing, and senior move management services. Darla founded the organization 13 years ago to empower clients to reclaim their space, their time, and their freedom. Darla, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're really excited about what you have to say.
Thank you, Jessica. So thank you, Jessica, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. As Jessica said, I'm going to talk to you about rightsizing, also known as downsizing, and how to make that process easier and less stressful. So the goal of rightsizing is to create a space that lets you live your best life. It's all about determining what's going to serve you in the future. That includes your stuff and your space. It's about making that conscious decision about how you want to live and what's going to serve your needs. But first, let's talk about the reasons to right-size. So cost is usually the number one reason, saving money. To save money on the upkeep, the repairs, and the maintenance, because repairs can be very costly and never ending. The next reason is illness or injury. So many people are just one fall or illness away from losing their choice of where they live because they simply haven't done the planning. Other reasons to right-size include retiring. Maybe you want to retire to another area like Florida or Arizona. Maybe you want to live a different lifestyle. Or maybe you just want freedom from stuff. When you take the time to furnish your home with only the few belongings or the few things that you love and need, it can free both your mind and your heart. And then you can focus on those things that bring you joy. Whatever your reason, these tips and ideas will help you get started. So the first thing that I want to discuss is how much space you'll have, or if you're moving, you will have, or if you're moving, and what that space looks like. So the first step and most important is to start with the dimensions of your new space. This will inform your decisions about how many belongings you want to take. Most people bring too much with them when they move, and by taking a few measurements, you can easily solve that problem. Many places that you might move will give you a floor plan of your space or your apartment, but you still need to take those room measurements because often they're off by several inches, and that can make the difference when it comes to taking that beloved end table or leaving it behind. And also, you want to make sure that you know where the windows, the closet, and the outlets live in a room. So take those into consideration. Next, you want to measure the closets in your current and your new space, including the hanging space, the shelves, and the shoe space, to determine what to keep and what to let go. The easiest measurement that you can take is the hanging space. So for example, if you have 30 linear feet of hanging space in your current home, and you have 15 linear feet of hanging space in your new residence, then you immediately know that you have to right size by at least half. Next, you want to start small. Start with the things that you're not attached to, like the Tupperware, or things that you might have kept out of obligation. For instance, that owl collection that someone in the family started for you when you once said that you liked owls. Now's your time, guilt-free. You can let all that go. Also, begin the process in smaller spaces. Those are spaces that you can complete within 1 to 2 hours, like a linen closet, a bathroom cabinet, or perhaps a kitchen cupboard. Those small spaces will give you a jumping off point to get the process started. Next, consider grouping items together so that you can actually see what you own. This really informs your decision-making process. And that's important because this is where people get stuck. So how many shoes do you actually own? Well, if you're like the rest of us, many. And I'll tell you what, that you probably live in 3 or 4 or even 5 places in your home. So gather them all up, see how many you have, and then you'll be able to make a good choice about what to let go and what to keep. Coats are another item where we really underestimate how many we have and how much space they'll actually take up, and how many places they live in the home, because I guarantee you they're not just in the coat closet. So gather those up and be honest with yourself about what to keep. So a lot of people ask us how to keep from getting stuck in the process, and that's by creating a maybe pile. There's nothing wrong with a maybe pile. It helps you avoid getting bogged down in the sorting and purging process. So just build yourself 2 or 3 boxes and put them in the corner somewhere. And as you work through the sorting and purging process and you get stuck, just throw them in the maybe pile. And it will significantly reduce the amount of time that you spend in the decision-making process. And when you go back to those boxes in the end, you'll be surprised at how easy those decisions will be to make. So larger spaces like basements, garages, and attics are areas where you may need help physically, mentally, and emotionally. So consider this during the planning process. Items in these areas tend to be more abundant. The boxes and the containers are often heavy, and in the case of an attic, they may be hard to get to. Not to mention the fact that if you're doing this in the summertime, those attics can be dangerously hot. Those are also areas where we tend to keep our memories and our photos. So when we talk about the emotional piece, that's what we're referring to. And where will your stuff go? Well, don't assume that your children or family members will want to take your furniture or your belongings, but do be sure to ask in case there's something special that they would like to keep. What we often advise is consider picking 1 to 2 items that you love to give to each family member. But when you do that, be sure to tell them the story of why you love the item, why you kept it, and why you would like for them to have it. It'll make a big difference in their appreciation of the item, and they will find a place of honor in their home for that item. When it comes to our stuff, many people feel that our items are worth more than they are. The market for antiques is just not as robust as it was in the past, and antique dealers now are very selective in the items in which they'll accept. Because so many people are right-sizing and downsizing, the market is just flooded with antiques, furniture, and household items, so they can pick and choose what they want. So next, when it comes to donations, research is the key to finding new homes for your belongings. Start by sorting the items that you want to donate. And this is important because you need to know which items your charitable or your local charitable organizations will accept. You need to know if they'll pick up, if they'll even come into your home, or if you have to carry the items outside, and what their hours of operation are. Different organizations take different items. Some will take clothing and shoes, some will take furniture, some take books, some won't. So do your research. When it comes to selling items, there are several ways to sell items. There's auctions, which can be all for on-site. Estate sales that could be on in-home or online. eBay is a great way to sell things. Craigslist, Nextdoor, and Facebook Marketplace. Again, auction houses are picky about what they take. excuse me. Take right now, and there is a glut of inventory for them to choose from. Next, I want to talk about disposal of items. If you're right-sizing over time, check with your local garbage company and see how much they'll take and see what they'll take. If they have special pickup days for large items or if they charge a fee. Just recently, I was working with somebody and we did call their local garbage company and spoke with them. And for a flat rate of $125, they took the equivalent of an SUV pile of stuff away. And I cannot tell you what a good deal that is. So I would definitely check with them first. Your other options include hiring a junk removal company. There's several of them out there. I would call 2 or 3 of them and price check, or having a dumpster delivered. Now, here's the thing about dumpster delivery. You might call one company and they'll drop a dumpster for $4.50 a day, and another one who will drop a dumpster for $4.50 a week. So definitely do your research there. And last but not least, when should you right size? Now, the sooner the better. 30 to 60 years of stuff is no joke. It took that long to fill up your home, so you're not going to right size it overnight. The good news is that you don't have to do it all at once. You can right size over time, but do have a set timeline and a plan so you can create a space that allows you to live your best life. We find that one of the top reasons people hesitate to move is because of the burden of having to right size or downsize their home. So bear in mind, there's a lot of help out there and you don't have to do it alone. So if you have any questions about anything I spoke about this evening, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to answer any questions. And that completes my piece. So I'll turn that back over to Jessica and Elaine.
Thank you so much, Darla. That was fantastic. We really appreciate your time today. Our next speaker will be Elaine Siafani, who is a full-service residential real estate agent with Keller Williams Real Estate, assisting home sellers and buyers in navigating the home sale process from pre-listing preparation right through to settlement. In addition to having a great personality all the way through, which is a fantastic feature, she really specializes in assisting seniors with making the best housing decisions for them as they age. And her job is to provide professional, knowledgeable service that makes the process as seamless and stress-free as possible. Elaine, take it away.
Thank you, Jessica. And let me get everything moving here so we get it right. There we go. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I am going to speak with you today on how to prepare your selling your home. Everybody wants to think that getting their house done, they can do it very quickly, but I highly recommend that you think about the process in advance. Especially as Darla was talking about, you may have many, many years of things in your house that you need to deal with. But that doesn't mean rush out and do new projects, start renovating your house. There are 5 basic things that you can do that'll help you sell your home faster and for a higher price. And we're going to discuss them now. Preparing your home for sale can be a daunting process if you're not sure where to begin. It's best to think about the process as early as possible, and that could be either months in advance, or I've had people talk to me for a couple years getting their home ready. If you're going to do any sort of renovation, I highly recommend that you do it while you're still living in it so you can enjoy the house for a couple years. Most home buyers are looking for move-in ready homes, which means they just pretty much want to bring their things in, put them into the house, and not have to do any work. Well, that's not 100% realistic in a home that is on a resale and it's not brand new. But don't you rush out and do all big renovations and large projects until you speak to a realtor such as myself, who will let you know what are the proper things to do that will still entice a buyer without having to put a lot of money and equity, sweat equity in there. If the home is in good repair, these 5 basic things that you can do will make your home appealing to buyers. First thing is curb appeal. And I know everybody has heard about that. It's the first impression that a buyer has when they drive up in front of your house. And believe it or not, I have had buyers drive up in front of a house and say they don't want to see the inside based on what the outside looks like. So this is really an important facet of preparing your home. Your landscaping should be neat and trimmed back, not over the driveway or over the walkways. Remove any plantings that are maybe older, overgrown, and are blocking maybe the house or some of the features of the front of the home. Ensure that the lawn is cut free of weeds and that the bald spots are filled in. Just throw a little grass seed in there and that'll help the appeal of the lawn. The next thing to do is look at anything that is damaged, rusted, or broken, such as your mailbox, if the hinges are hanging off of it, or the flag fell off, or your numbers on your house, if they're not visible or they're rusty or maybe not hanging on as well. And also your outdoor lighting and lamps. Are they rusted? So the bulbs not all work? You want to get those things done because those are the things that people will be looking at first before going in your home and get an idea of how you are taking care of your home. You're going to want to paint the front door and the trim and the shutters because believe me, they're walking in that front door and they're going to be looking at all of that as they go in. You're going to want to repair any walkways and driveways, especially if there's anything dangerous that may cause a trip and fall. You want to make sure that they're also clear from any of your landscaping, that none of the plants or trees are going over it so people don't get hit with them as they're walking up to the front door to enter it. And now I know this is going to sound strange, but I've gone to many houses where people don't use their front door on a regular basis. They go in through a side door of the garage and the front door lock doesn't work properly. As an agent, when I'm sitting there jimmying with the lock, trying to get the key to work in it, it's a little frustrating for not only me, but for the buyers that are waiting to try to get into your home. You don't want them to walk in frustrated before they even see your interior of your home. Number 2, you have smells and odors. And this is something that a buyer will reject a home for immediately. These things can come from pet odor, smoking, strong food or cooking odors, or a musty basement that comes upstairs. I'm going to address each one of these individually because smells and odors, as I said, are a very big factor in buyers' thoughts in purchasing. Pet odor can be tricky to eliminate. I love my pets, but I also know the messes that they can make to carpeting or to your hardwood floors. And they can do significant damage. And this is usually because they forget where their litter box is or don't make it outside to use the backyard. And the body fluids get in there. And if you don't use an enzymatic cleaner, it may not be able to take everything out, especially getting into the padding of carpeting. So get an enzymatic cleaner that will take out the properties of the urine and help to make it less, reduce the odor. More than likely, you may need to remove or replace the carpeting, unfortunately, especially if it's been used more than once by your pet or it's been long-standing. Wood flooring may need refinishing, but not necessarily because there are cleaners that could also work to take out the stains that are in hardwood. I know many times people remove carpeting that's already over hardwood, and then if there was stains or spills on the carpeting, it went through the carpeting, through the padding, and is now in the hardwood. So now they have a second problem, even though they've removed the carpeting. And keep in mind that air fresheners won't work. You can try to mask an odor, but the underlying odor will be there, especially for somebody that doesn't have pets. They will notice the smell because, as you know, you can become nose blind to any odors that are in your home. The next smell is smoking, and smoking is the most difficult odor to remove, even for remediation companies. As a matter of fact, just today, an agent in my office sent out an SOS to everyone asking if they knew anybody that could remediate 20 years of smoking in a home. This is difficult to get out because it gets into the window treatments, the furniture, the carpeting, and even the tar and nicotine sits on the walls. You can start by trying to remove the window treatments completely. That lets more light in and makes a room feel bigger anyway. or you would have to wash them and then make sure that they were able to come clean and the smell was fully eliminated. You're going to want to remove any furniture or carpeting that has been in for a long period of time. It may be very difficult to get the odor out of that. You can have them professionally cleaned. A carpet cleaning company will also do furniture, so they can try doing that. But if the smell doesn't come out, it will remain in the house and you may need to remove the furniture or carpeting that's been affected. Now, your walls have to be washed before you put any paint on top of it because it will come through otherwise, especially if you have long-term smoking in the home. Do not use just a Mr. Clean magic eraser. That's not going to be strong enough. There are specialty washes that you can get from the Home Depot or a Lowe's that can help you with washing the walls prior to repainting them. As I said, again, smoking is one of the hardest things to get out, but you will need to get it out. A house cannot sell with that. The next thing may be strong cooking odors. Yes, we love to eat, we love our foods, but when you come into a house and you can smell strong spices or onions, fish, seafood, something like that, that's not as appetizing at the time that you're coming in later as it was when you were making the food to eat. I highly recommend that you don't cook during the time that the home is being shown it with strong odors. I mean, you can use other foods. And the other thing is those odors may also be in your window treatments, which you can just take down and wash or remove completely. You may have to paint the kitchen if it's gotten into the walls, which is also a possibility. And I highly recommend that if you're going to do anything right before showings is bake some cookies, because nobody has ever turned down a home for having a cookie smell in it. A musty basement is usually due to some sort of intrusion of water. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is figure out, is there water coming into the basement? Because that will have to be remedied. But if it's just a damp basement because it's not finished, it's an older basement, you may just need to have a dehumidifier put into the basement, have it run on a continuous basis. And then you're also able to waterproof walls. This is a simple process that's paint on, and it will keep any of the dampness that comes through the wall from causing a musty smell. The majority of basements have some element of odor because they are below grade, but if it's a strong odor that can come up to the living levels of the floor of the house, you're going to want to try everything you can to try to remediate that, and these are two of the best ways to do it. Now, the third thing you're going to do out of the 5 is decluttering and depersonalizing. Oversized or too much furniture in a room makes it look and feel smaller. And the idea is to make the rooms feel open, airy, and bright. Also, heavy window treatments can make a room look darker. So I always highly recommend that those be removed completely. Let all of the natural light come in so that the room feels bright and airy. You may need to remove some furniture from the room, and that's when you talk to your real estate professional, such as me, and I will come in and help you eliminate pieces from a room. And when you take down the window treatments, you also may want to remove some floor decor. If you have any kind of statues or people that have baskets of blankets or a basket of magazines, have that all removed so that there's nothing on the floor and it allows for easy movement around the room. Now, this is always a tough one for people, but you're going to want to remove personal photos. Anything about you, your family, and friends on the walls. When a buyer walks through, what you want them to do is see themselves and their family and friends in that house. And it's hard to do that when your family's looking down from a wall covered with photos. So we always ask that you take most of them down. You can leave a few. And the other thing that this helps, all of this, is for starting to pack. The packing process should be an ongoing process, and you can start doing that as you're taking items from the room. And even as Darla would tell you, or that's the time to decide to get rid of some of your items. And now the 4th thing, cleanliness. This is easy. This is something you just do to clean up, and it can help a home sell just as quickly, even without some updates. If a buyer comes in and sees that the home is clean and very well maintained, that gives them a good feeling about purchasing the home, even if the kitchens, bathrooms aren't updated, and maybe there's still wallpaper on the wall that they don't like. As long as the house is clean, and maybe put a fresh neutral color paint on the walls that will immediately brighten the house. If you're deciding to clean the walls instead of painting, beware of streaking again with the Mr. Clean magic erasers. You can use special wall washing solvents. Clean all the carpeting, and either you can do it yourself, you can rent the cleaners, or you can have a company come in and do it, and then wash all the flooring very well. Now, dust everything, including the tops of window treatments. The only reason I say this, people are very good at dusting. Then they forget at the top of their window treatments that there may be dust just sitting along the top. So make sure that that's also taken care of. Then a huge thing to do right before the house goes on the market is to wash or have the windows all washed prior to showings. Let in as much light as possible so that the room feels bright and airy. If you have dirty windows and the streaks come through on a sunny day, it's going to look a little dingy. Then what you're going to want to do, if you have not renovated your bathrooms and your kitchens, make sure that you wipe down and clean all of the cabinets. This is something that for some reason people forget to do, and then they don't realize that there's a lot of streaking on these cabinets. So wipe them down, clean them up, make them look as good as possible. The one thing you can do for all of this is, if all this cleaning sounds like a lot to you, there are many companies, and I have recommendations for you, of cleaning companies that will do a one-time deep clean of your entire house. Usually takes a day, and then they get to all of the items that I have just mentioned. The biggest thing you want to do is let the home shine for any potential buyers walking through your home. Now, the last thing is doing some DIY repairs, things that you can do on your own that are only small and may make a big impact if they're left undone. As I said, if the door lock doesn't work, that could be something that frustrates people. But if you add up a whole bunch of little things, they can start thinking that maybe big things are wrong with the home. So do things like replace a broken light switch or outlet cover if it has a crack in it. Replace or repair cabinet hinges for a cabinet doesn't close all the way, or pops back open. Replace or repair door stripping that may be peeling off. And then damaged doorknobs, any doorknobs that are scratched, not working properly, because people will be opening and closing doors and cabinets. The other thing is replace light bulbs. Nothing worse than a beautiful chandelier that has maybe 8 to 10 lights on it and only 6 of them are working. You want to make sure that all the light bulbs are working, because all the lights will be on in the house during showings. And the one thing that's very important, if you do have a sliding glass door, do use the WD-40 to help it slide. We've had a couple times when the screen gets popped out because it's not sliding properly during a showing, and you don't want that to happen. These small repairs, and I'm sure you can think of a couple other that may be around the house that you would want to do, if they're done and completed, do not cost a lot, don't take a lot of time, but will have a big impact. If you take these 5 areas into consideration, you can start getting your home ready for sale quickly. You're going to consult a real estate professional who's going to do a tour of your home, such as me. I will walk and guide you on what would be best to do and what maybe you don't need to do. Preparation will take the entire stress out of the process of getting your home ready for sale. As I said, it's a daunting process, but if it's taken in a well-planned out step-by-step process, it will be much easier for you. It's my contact information. If you have any questions or if you need any additional information, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Take it away, Jess.
Elaine, thank you so much for that lovely presentation. We really appreciate those thoughts. And I loved your comment about bringing light into a home. I think that's so important. So thank you for highlighting that for us. And Darla, likewise, thank you so much for your presentation as well. Before we close tonight, I want to share some information about upcoming seminars that we have on our agenda. And the next one will be a seminar about the holidays, staying home for the holidays, staying safe and finding joy. And so we'll be talking about a variety of topics, including ways to stay safe while shopping online, and some information about adopting pets waiting for love and companionship. So we're going to have a variety of speakers who will be talking about different issues. And we're also going to be having some daily money managers talking about issues related to finances and holiday shopping. So please join us for that. You can sign up on our website. And if you can't join us for that one, we'll be reconvening again after the holidays to talk about observing changes in loved ones. This topic, is a hard one, but it's also really important because sometimes when we're together with the people we love, we can see the differences in them. And so, this is going to be a seminar to hear about some of the resources that are available, to explore options that might be a good fit for your family, and to learn more about moving into personal care and taking steps to protect the people you love. So if you are interested, we'd love to have you join us for this. And then at a future date, we're going to focus more on the different levels of care that is available, if someone does move into a facility or potentially needs some help in the home. And we're going to explore the differences between personal care, memory care, and palliative care. So please consider joining us for that in February. That date is tentative, but I believe that will be the date that it is. And finally, if you have any questions about different things that you've seen tonight, or you want to learn more about what we do as an organization, please check out our website. There are so many fantastic resources on here. You can learn more about professionals in a variety of different areas. And, if you have questions for any of the speakers tonight, you definitely can reach out that way to contact them through the information posted on the website. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. We're glad you took some time to visit with us tonight and learn a little bit more about these issues. And so thank you and have a great evening. Goodbye.